This is a Tokai ST80 and it was sold to me on eBay as something that was a 1984 Gold Star sound. But looking at the photos, I was a bit confused because the serial number on the plate, various stamped parts of the tuners were stamped Tokai and not deluxe. So there were various things on there that indicated it was an 81, but it had the decal, the Gold Star Sound decal on the headstock of an 84 guitar. So it was all quite confusing, but it was pretty cheap. So I took a punt and I bought it. So yeah, two-piece body, very sharp V profile on the back of the neck, whereas the ST60 is a V, but it's a slightly softer V. I don't think any of these video clips actually show the lacquer checking of the cellulose lacquer, and it looks really beautiful. The other sign of 81 guitars is that so the jack socket and the knobs, so the knobs go yellow, they age quite significantly on the 81s if you look at photos, and the jack plates look like they're nickel and not chrome. And on the ST60 and the cream guitar next to it there, which is a 50, they're a chrome. Again, on the serial number, the plate, the neck plate, it's like it's nickel plated and not chrome. So these were all the things that were making me think, I think that is an 81, but what has gone on, I don't know. It originally had a different bridge on it, a Tokai bridge, but it was their sort of version, their mid-80s version of a Floyd Rose unit. They were trying to find something that suited the metal players, dive, bombers, so the guitar didn't go out of tune. And it had a great big fixed locking nut on it, so you can see from the 3 holes there in the headstock. That's what's caused those, and I'm going to repair those properly one day, but at the moment I've literally just popped some dowel in there so that we can't get any moisture in. They don't get any worse. So nickel plated Cluson tuners, but they're all stamped Tokai, which those earlier springy sounds were. So this is the 81 catalogue for their traditional line, their flat tops. And you can see the guitar just coming into the middle of the shot there, which is the ST80. Obviously you have the 100 with the gold hardware. I don't really like gold hardware, I'm not bothered about that. And I've always sort of lusted over guitars from 1981, Japanese guitars, because I was born in 81. Such a silly thing, but that is my birth year, so. So here's photos of you can see the, I think they call it like an extra Tokai on the stamps on the bridge. There you go, extra Tokai. And I've forgotten the model number for it, called AST bridge, something like that. It's in the later catalogues. And there's the great big ugly locking nut. So that needed to go. But luckily the changes that were made to this guitar, they were all fairly reversible, apart from plugging those 3 holes. Unlike a Floyd Rose, you don't have to route out extra parts of the body to fit this, so it could be fitted as an afterthought. Let's just explain it here. So here is the 1984 catalogue, and you can see again there's ST80, but by 84 they'd start calling them TST80s. There you go. But then as you zoom out, there's a black guitar just to the left of this, and a red guitar, and I'll circle them. There you go, and they've got these larger bridges on, but you can't find mention of them anywhere in the catalogue. So they started photographing them, and then in 84 there were all these lawsuits and threats and what have you. Had to make various changes. Some of you watching this will know a lot better than I, but there were obviously issues with sales and not wanting to get bitten by the lawyers from other companies. Anyway, so I took all the parts off. So here's the bridge. Any bits I've removed, they're all bagged up and they're all in exactly the kind of way that I would, kept safely, because it's all part of the story of the guitar. But I'm not a dive bombing, hair metal freak, so I'm not going to have that on the guitar. My theory is that in 1984, either the distributors or the Tokai factory were looking around trying to find guitars that they could sell because they were having trouble. They were producing fewer guitars, and they had some older 81 guitars, maybe demo instruments, that they decided to put new headstock decals on and try them out with these new advanced tremolo systems. It could have just been the customer that bought it that decided to call Tokai in 1984 and go, oh, I've changed my mind. I'd actually like my 1981 Tokai that I've had for 3 years to now have your unadvertised bridge system and locking nut. Could you put that on for me? Oh, and while it's there, could you also remove my headstock decal and put the more modern one on? I don't think anyone would do that. Maybe aftermarket fitting the tremolo, yes, but I don't see anyone going, it needs to be this uglier, less satisfying logo instead of the beautiful spaghetti one that was much closer to the Fender. So I've taken off this Tokai, carefully removed this Tokai headstock logo, the Gold Star Sound one, and it came off pretty easily. But then if you look in this next photo, and I will outline it, you could see where the original spaghetti logo was, that springy sound logo. It was difficult to get any clips of it at the time, but you could definitely see where that decal had been trimmed and cut and sat there. And you could even see the outline of Tokai with that sort of distinctive reverse 7 spaghetti logo style. I'd managed to source a original Tokai bridge, but that was 84 one, so it had the later 84 stampings on them, and I finally managed to get some Tokai stamped saddles. And this was the shaft of the tuner. It was broken when I received the guitar, so I bought a 1983-84 Cluson tuner, and I removed the innards, the bit that I needed, that tuning post, and added that in, so that was all nice and original. So I still maintained the Tokai stampings on the casing. So these pieces, look there, so one of them has been trimmed from the price ticket from the guitar, that yellow outline there. I don't know if they did them for the Strats. And there, it's part of the warranty card. You can see that rant. It's clearly from that. So somebody, and I think the factory, adapted the guitar. They needed to put a wedge under the neck to change the angle enough so that you could use this much taller, advanced Floyd Rose type tremolo system. You know, instead of using a fag packet, they used the literature that was around, offcuts, old bits. This is how I'm seeing it. You know, it's an office full of literature, Tokai related stuff, old sales, warranty tags and what have you, and they've just snipped one of those up. So I suppose that's my theory on this odd guitar, which actually has, you know, it's turned itself into a lovely 1981 guitar. The only other differences though are that it should really, in 81, it would have left the factory with E-stamped pickups. You know, these sort of like, oh, amazing, you know, a lot of people on the forums, you know, for years have said, oh, the E-stamped pickups, they're the ones you want, not the V's or the U's. This ST60 has E's, but this ST80 left the factory with, is it VII, so 7s, you know, VII stamped on them, which was period correct for sort of 84. They were trying these new pickups. But again, would you send your guitar back to be serviced and have the new bridge and nut put on, new decal? Oh, and also can you change the pickups in there? Because they're not like hot, you know, they're not drastically higher output single coils, you're more likely to go, can you put a humbucker in there? Because Tokai were also playing with that kind of combination in 85. So everything that seems to have been done there seems to be a factory thing. And they're obviously grabbing what they had, swapping things out. How are we going to make the money? Our sales are down. Let's send this out. Or maybe it wasn't sold till years later and they changed their demo 81 into a demo 84 with the new bridge so they could test it. Maybe I've got an old factory piece of test equipment, but I'll never know. But the story's all there. I didn't want to keep the headstock logo as it was, so I've returned it carefully to the Springy Sound. Because I'm not selling it, I'm not going to make a profit on it. It doesn't matter if it's, changed or what have you. It's part of my story. Yeah, so that's my Tokai ST80 from 1981. What do you reckon? Maybe add comments below, because I know that these Japanese guitars are surrounded in myth and legend and everyone has an opinion on them. So let's talk about it. Okay, thanks guys. As you can see, there's more to come later on. Like and subscribe and all that stuff. And I'll see you soon. Bye.